Cherry, everyone. Cherry. Welcome to the stream. The much anticipated stream. The stream where we enter the crossover zone. The stream that I have been saving up quite a bit for. Because, let's be perfectly honest, this is going to take a lot. I know my gacha luck, and I know how this goes. So, this is what I'm going to be doing. And because I want to stretch the gacha out. Oh yeah, right, I forgot bonuses are a thing. Never mind, no stretching the gacha out. Extract. So, as I mentioned, I do not know Arknights that well, or barely at all. All I know is from images, and maybe a few random things here and there from osmosis. Still, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try. Oh yeah, well, hopefully I get lucky. And Magscab, I do not get any of your luck, because your luck is utterly terrible. So, let's see. 1. I can say the story. Okay, that's good to know. So I won't be completely lost. So let's do this. First extraction. And let's see what should I do this? What any chance that I could give for this? Hunter's song. I have no idea. Let's just do it. Get in the body bag! Yes, get in the body bag! That didn't work. So. Well, darn it. First one's a bust. So, let's see here. Ah, yes. Golden Age will return again. That one was also a bust. Magscab, what did you do? Magscab? Oh. Yep, I know the song. It is a very nice song. Let's see. Kill the sea people. I'm having anti-streamer luck, it seems, because this usually my luck's better than this. Okay, Seaborn. Oh, the Seaborn. Okay, the Seaborn. Let me think. Doctor, get to the chopper! This is the wrong accent. I suppose if have ye old P-Moon flashbacks, you could play. Fair enough, so, let me think. Doctor! Can you hear me, Doctor? Wake up, Doctor! This is just depressing. I am honestly depressed. But, on the plus side, I know for a fact that I have enough. Well then, let's do this again. Go! Once again! Unto the breach! This feels familiar. As an FGO player, I've encountered this feeling before. Okay. You know, even I got Gregor by this point. Yes, I know. Oh, curse your luck! Come on! Well, thankfully, I have nothing else to spend my currency on. I have... So... So I think this is all my bad luck going. Like, what's worse? What's the... Oh, come on. What's next? Rhode Island going to blow up? I am 70 polls in, and I have gone Budkiss. Oh, oh yeah, I've seen memes about what I'm assuming is the Carmen equivalent, getting her, stealing the big land ship, and then Dante and the Limbus just arriving or something. Oh well, so let's try this again. The ex-wife took the house, yes. Dog CEO! Grant me your power! Grant me the luck! Please! Oh, great dog CEO! I give you my loyalty, my money. Just give me the ego. Oh? That's good. But wait, I think that's supposed to be a different color. Why have you betrayed me, dog CEO? Is it because there's a cat on my lap? Why do you betray me so? Oh, great dog CEO. Like, must thine torment me? Have I not been a loyal subject? Have I not played since launch? I have loyally served thee. So please, just grant me what I seek. Yeah, I'm going to get the ruler Kagetora. She's my last, target for this year. But, Magscab, you have been taking all my luck. Like, you have greatly pained me. So, I once again... Well, I'm just going to... The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to roll and try to get some people, and I will just take pity on whoever is remaining at this rate. And this time, hey, please give me the ego. If you do so, I will gladly sacrifice Magscab upon the altar of Project Moon. Looks like he doesn't want you. Hey, what can I say? Say Magscab, he didn't want you. But this is quite the painful run. Like, usually I get something by this point. But this is just... Ouch. Like, what are the probabilities here? See, ego? Like, what are the probabilities of these? Like, yeah, event. Okay, so I tell you what. If you grant me the ego, I will pet my cat and snuggle my kitty. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. You can't stop me. My cat is already on my lap. Wait. Yeah, I know. Statistically, I should have gotten one. But it's very clear that the CEO wants to drain my stockpile. Well, I've been saving this for a long time. I am not going to give up. Come at me, bro! Okay, what is... I am like a ravenous blood fiend. I desire this. Come on. And is it because I don't play Arknights? Is that why they have not come to me? Is that why you have forsaken me so? Oh, nay. Nay, I defy you. I shall roll again! Am I really just going to go to pity? Yes, no, I play too many gacha games already. I am not throwing myself into that, and And oh my god, I just... by all that is mercy. It's... By all that is... I shall roll. You cannot escape me. I shall find you. I am a hunter. And I shall grab you. Well, the thing is, there are 3 on this banner, so statistically, the best solution is to basically roll until I get 2 of them, or until I get enough pity to get the remainders. At this rate, it's looking likely I'm going to just have to get pity. Because this is just getting ridiculous. This is my worst luck so far. Doesn't... Yeah, pretty much, so... Alright. 1. Roll again! And come on! Come to me, Arknights waifus! Come to me! Are you kidding me? You know, that golden ding is just mocking me at this point. Well then. And 2 can play at that game. Name ding! 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 You know, I'm not even... That's not even what I'm after. Like... These odds, I have just... Well, yeah, at least I'm getting shards. Like, I should have more than enough to get the next few units just by dispensary at this point. But still, like, I've almost hit pity and haven't gotten a single one. And... I don't care about the iron gold. I care about the iron other color. I think it's blue. I've seen screenshots of blue. That's the wrong Ishmael. So... desperate time calls for desperate measure. Come on. Ow, ow, ow. Okay. Never mind. My cat is in that mood. Oh, boy. Boy. Don't worry. Didn't break skin that time. So, Frodo. No. No, Frodo. Frodo. You've lost lap privileges. Fine. Be gone. Be gone with you. Be gone. You've lost your lap privileges. Though you don't attack me. No. Be gone. Be gone. Be gone with you, Frodo. He hath betrayed me. He just, like, like, he didn't pierce the skin or anything, but I think he sort of just, like, did a bit of this bite. He got a bit bitey, but didn't pierce the skin. Still, whenever you get like that, Frodo, you lose your lap privileges. Anyway, I think maybe my dramatic I think the math is that who didn't get all egos before Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, where was I? Apologies about that. My cat decided to be a bit of a... I think my just dramatic declaration got him a bit excited, so me trying to lift him up and have him roll kind of got it. Well then, let's see if my luck changes now. Nope. Nope. Nope, it didn't. I swear, I think I have anti-streamer luck. We're at 180 pulls at this point. Just I don't how. We're at 180. Oh, so welcome to the stream, Slayer Copium. Welcome. Nope, not a one. Not a single one. Plenty of 3-star units, plenty of other things. I just have not gotten a single one of them. Also, welcome to the stream, Slayer Copium. Please subscribe or follow. I'm trying to reach a 50 goal plus, you know, just general trying to become affiliates. Still, welcome to the stream. And once again, yeah, Meridian, I'm just saying all your bad luck. I swear, you two are anti-streamer luck with this sometimes. Anyway, once again, grant me thine strength, great dog CEO. Okay, Yeah, I know. It's... Nope, I have stockpiles. I literally have enough that if I needed to, I could... Do you... No, the way it works is that once you have this amount, you can just pick which one you want and grab them. There's also the announcers, I guess, but I don't care about announcers. So, once again, this is the 200th roll. You cannot escape me this badly. My luck cannot be this utterly terrible. Please, I beg you. Yeah, I've been saving for over a year. I barely roll, so, I have... Yeah, so, I've reached pity. I still have plenty more to go. Also, I guess I'll double check something quick. Yeah, I expected that much. Does that? Yeah, it does count it above, so... Okay, no risk of wasting any pity. But yes, this luck has been utterly terrible. I'm about to scream. But I do not go quietly into the night. Again! Okay, which one of you wants to be the human sacrifice? Nice. Yes. More. Again! Like, I'm an FGO player. This is giving me flashbacks. Time to go. Like, if I have that bad of a luck, Magscab, I swear I am going to do something. And like, I have enough to do it, but still, it is pain. Yeah, man, if you... Well, oh, right, your Magscab sister, the person who just has ridiculous gacha luck. Let me try something different. Let me see here. Do I have it around here? Okay. Hey, tiny cute cat statue. Tiny cute kitty statue. Press the button. Meow. Okay, this is... was like one... Okay. I think I know what I'm going to try this time. I'm going to... Since one of them's a cat, I'm going to go... Okay, Neko, Q! Yeah, I didn't think that would work. We're up to 151 pulls. Not a single one of these guys have showed up. Like, what are the odds? I don't want to know because this is just painful. Once again. Like, have any of you had this bad of a run before? Because this is just pain on my side. Ah, good. Well, no, I meant bad of a run on when it comes to this. I play FGO as well. Like, during the Okita summer event, I literally went to pity getting her. I went to pity on FGO. I'd rather not think about that. Well, yeah, that's painful. That is painful. But like, I swear, you are like... I had to pity Wild Hunt. Well, that is definitely painful as well. Okay, and now I'm up to almost 300. How is this bad? How is my luck this bad? Like, why? How? Viridian, are you taking my luck? Is Magscab taking my luck? Like, who were the... This is just ridiculous. But this is why I have stockpiles. This is why I've saved so much over the last few seasons. Yeah, this is statistically improbable. Still can happen, but it's statistically improbable. Yes! Yes! At last! At last! I got it. At last I got one of them. Which one is it, though? Do not fear the absence of brilliance. Thank you, you Gregor. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So, that was just utterly terrible luck on my end. And but I actually managed to get one of them. Yep, I actually managed to get the... I think this one was Uma Musume, I suppose. So that's one. And how close am I to... Okay, I'm still going to roll a bit. See if I get lucky. Still going to roll. The street... Frodo, you can't get on my lap again. You lost those privileges. Nope. Nope. You've lost their privileges, Frodo. Be gone with you. Be gone with you. That's what you get for misbiting me. You lose lap privileges. Huh. Do any of you have pets like that? My cat sometimes just gets a bit moody and then it gets a bit bitey. Yeah, but that's just the thing of owning a kitty, I guess. Yes, but... I swear this luck is just... This has been one of my worst runs yet, in my honest opinion. Just one of my worst runs in terms of luck. Usually I've gotten most of the stuff long ago. So, at this point, I'm just fueled by spite. Spite and sunk costs fallacy. But mostly spite. I said, but the thing is, I'm not making a purchase yet, because knowing my luck, the moment I purchase one of these, I'm going to roll it. Because that's how luck works. It spites you and it hates you. Oh. So, what can I think next time? I need the cat girl in the sea. You drown in the sea of despair! Because I am. Like, I can see why the CEO wanted... Like, why this can make the CEO a lot of money, because... My god. Just... My god. If I hadn't been hoarding lunacy like a chipmunk, I would probably have been despairing like crazy with this luck. And might have been tempted to break out Ye Almighty Wallet. Alright. What are we up to this point? I swear, we're almost at the point where I just buy them both. I have 40. And your works, you just get the other... Like... Yeah, I know, Oh, wait, I got one! This is good, this is good! Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you joking now? both of you at the same time? Well, I guess I'm getting announcers.
아득한 야정. 멈추지 않는 시대에서 희망과
I-
미래를 찾아 스스로 답을 구하시길.
One.
흐릿한 등화, 곱게 접은 종이에
Well,
번졌으니
I got
식구의
them at
밤,
least.
용이
I
되어
got the cat and now the
그
dragon.
불에 남았구나.
Yeah, I have those sort of impulses as well. Oh, but I guess I'm buying announcers because there's nothing else for me to spend them on. Well, I guess I'm just getting Shichun and Wei because I got all these things. I don't. So, Shichun and Wei. Poggers who. Oh, Ling is the dragon lady. Okay. So, well, might as well just grab this while I have the opportunity.
그건 뭐야?
아가씨께서 수업을 듣고
아,
일어나는
well.
과정을 기록으로 남기는 중입니다.
뭐? 그런 걸 왜?
Well, at least I have the consolation. Yeah, no, I honestly don't care about announcers. I don't care nearly enough about announcers to roll for them. They're always just sort of nice to haves and all that. So let's get down to business for the real stuff. But first I gotta figure out, actually, I got a team in place. I'm going to be using my bleed team here. Why? Yeah, Constellation Way. Exactly, Slayer Copium. Exactly, Constellation Way. I think I'm going to be using my bleed team here. Why? Actually, wait. These egos are... That's blue, and what was the Gregor one? Actually, wait, no, I'm not going to use the bleed team. I'm going to use the rupture team because looks like I can fuel these egos with them. So, and since there you go. And since I can probably fuel these egos with them, so that makes it a bit simpler. So pop you in, and Honglu. And pop in the spammer, which is actually a pretty good thing since this is on brand, yeah. So I'm going to use this team. This will be my team I shall use to defeat them, or whatever the hell's going on here. So let's begin. Let's see what this rebellion's all about. Oh. Event bonus units, so... Oh, right, yeah, Title Ishmael is an event exchange ego. I forgot that it was an exchange ego. I thought it was going to pop up in the gacha, but that makes it simpler. So, Title Ishmael. And let's begin. Please claim progress rewards ahead of time has become unavailable. Okay? So, we have normal for lower people and hard for me. I'll just blitz through normal off stream just to get the rewards. So... Yep, max bonus. So, and, okay, I can't deploy. To be perfectly honest, this team is still pretty good with this situation. Hard mode gives you easy rewards. Well, yeah. Still, this is a good team for this.
만곡된 직선을 직선으로 질주하겠소.
Yep. As in both easy and hard modes. Okay, so I get rewards for doing both. That's very good. That's very lucky. I was exploring a lobotomy corporation branch when my consciousness sinks into the depths. The sense of cognition, itself a concept without form. It's itself a concept without form, floats into the shadow of an ever-widening river, swept up in its currents to nowhere. When we ran into an abnormality. But Saud told us that Hongyan's Lobotomy Corp branch should be free of any abnormalities. Oh, don't worry, because this is crossover bullshit. The abnormality, which had appeared out of nowhere, was more otherworldly than we'd encountered so far in our journey, and deep blue. It was fathomless blue, and seemed to have a pull that endlessly drew us into itself. That sounds like Blue Star, so I guess like a Blue Star-derived thing? What do you guys think? That sounds very Blue Star-ish, doesn't it? Just as I was about to recall this abnormality, a myriad of sceneries and a flood of incalculable thoughts crashed into my mind like wild waves before ebbing away from its shores. I was already lost and adrift somewhere within my own consciousness when I realized this. Just how long am I going to be adrift? The sensation of my own consciousness floating away is quite the unfamiliar one. I floated about in that strange state for a while. Eh? An unfamiliar voice seizes my aimless drifting consciousness. Are you Dante? Huh? The fog of my vision clears as the voice breaks through the waves, and a concerned expression comes into view. Yes, I am. Ah, what a relief. I have no idea how this character is supposed to sound, so I'm going to assume cute. Gregor, I think Dante has come too. So who are... I was about to ask further questions to this stranger with particularly long animal-like ears, but could be. Interesting avenues are connected to distant worlds in any case. It's a bunny. Yeah, so she's cute sounding. Exactly, exactly. If you're a bunny, you sound cute. I felt the drowsiness coursing back with the terrifying memories of the dream, rendering me unable to speak. I have to get a hold of myself. After an indeterminate amount of time had passed, I barely managed to wake myself from slumber, to get a grasp of my surroundings, only to find myself surrounded by more unfamiliarities. There was that stranger from earlier, sitting atop a rock, silently taking in the sights. A young girl who probably saved my life. Wait, so were those animal ears after all? Why are you too surprised, Dante? We've been in H Corp, H Corp where the various animal people are. We've seen all the various animal with the Heishao and all that, so honestly, her having rabbit ears is not that unusual. Okay, that's not important right now. I have to prioritize figuring out just where in the world I ended up. So, we're standing by the Iberian coastline. How are you feeling? Iberian coastline. I see. I have no idea where that is. A little out of it, but I'm okay otherwise. Iberia, huh? Yes, we're in Iberia, not the city? Well, given that we're next to an ocean, maybe I drifted all the way to U-Corp's Great Lake. Yeah, because we have no concept of Iberia, so from our perspective, it could be anywhere from a nation to a tiny port town. Iberia was an unfamiliar name, but that was all I had to go on, given that the city was full of more unknowns than known to me. Exactly, although I am pretty sure that for most city folk, this world might be a bit more of a paradise, maybe, possibly, who knows, honestly I don't know much. All I know is that there's rock cancer and something about a black hole. I radioed my colleagues when you briefly woke up earlier. They'll be here any minute. I see. Wait, my colleagues, you must have run into the sinners then. Although I do wonder how this probably looks from the perspective of these Arknight characters, because, again, I don't know Arknights that well, but I'm going to assume that a person with a clock for a head is probably unusual. The fog of my mind immediately cleared as soon as I realized that the sinners were nowhere to be seen. Sinners? Yeah, once again, weird name for your employees, no? Yes, but still. I think I ran into them earlier. They were looking all over the place for someone with a clock for a head. It was a pretty unique description, so I could tell right away that you were the person they were looking for. And Frodo, no, Frodo, what are you doing? Get away from the back of the computer, get away from the internet cord. I don't want scuff being you disconnecting me and causing scuff. Come on, okay? If you behave, you get lap privileges back, okay? Hey. Come on. Stop dominating the mouse, please. Sorry for the delay, everyone. My cat is just deciding that he wants affection, and now he's hesitating whether he wants to get on my lap or not. Cats, am I right? Right, do any of you have cats? So this clock head does come in handy. Does make you stand out, doesn't it? Gasp. Manager Bud. Dante. Hey, yep, Dante. Hey, Dante. Also, just keep in mind, you have to post frequently, otherwise Twitch decides to not register that you're watching. Which is, honestly, quite an annoyance, because you can have 2 people watching, but if they don't post anything, you don't hear any... It's not counted in the viewers. It's... I swear, Twitch. I swear. I woke up in an unfamiliar place next to an unfamiliar face. And in the midst of all this all-around sense of displacement, yeah, Twitch is weird like that. I honestly, I don't know why they do it. Well, I do. I think it's a way to stop viewer bots and the like. They don't want someone to be able to just hire a bunch of bots to pop in and watch. So it's a way to catch bots. But on the other hand, it really makes us small timers have a struggling and hard time. Anyway, in the midst of all this all-around sense of displacement, the faces that appeared before me were certainly a sight for sore eyes. Gregor, Hong Lu. Miss Rabbit here told me she found you. You're unconscious by the ocean, and phew. I came as fast as I could, and oh boy, I was worried that something bad might have happened. And glad to see you're doing fine. Were you lost at sea? I don't know. I'd probably check to see if there's any water and how moist I am. I didn't mean it like that. Don't get your minds out of the gutter. I meant how moist my clothing were. How wet I was. Just how much water is on me. I don't know. Well, I do think I'm fine, though. I guess not having any way to drink water finally came in handy. You should get that checked out just in case. Wait, your head's waterproof, right? I assume so. It takes a moment to steady his breathing, then mutters a casual quib as he lights a cigarette. Well, he doesn't seem that concerned. Maybe we're not actually in that much danger. So, what happened? Where are we? Do you remember entering that lobotomy corp branch Shichun told us about? Ah, yeah. Yeah, we ran into a new abnormality and and got sucked into it before we even had the chance to do anything. Yeah, that definitely sounds like Blue Star, so maybe a Blue Star aberration? Huh. Man, I really thought that was it for us, especially with you getting sucked in there too, Manager Bud. Water. But when we came to, despite waking up with our faces down in some ditch, we are all fine without a scratch. Though there was quite the mess when we realized you'd gone missing. Probably. We wanted to search for you immediately, but it took a while before we got a better bearing on where we were. So we're not at U-Corp's Great Lake. Some of us considered that to be a distinct possibility, but it's unlikely. Ishmael was really certain that we were not in District 21. It probably went something like this. No, this isn't District 21. This lake isn't nearly that fucked up. She did concede that we might be in an unknown area within the Great Lake of the outskirts. But that doesn't seem likely either, given what the rabbit-ear lady there said. As a fun note, the Arknights world does treat words that refer to animals differently. Outside of wolves, animals are ex-beasts, with varying resemblance to Earth equivalents. As I recall, words like rabbit and cat are sort of treated as vaguely race-related generics, like white rather than Caucasian or something like that. That does sound very interesting. Amia, for reference, is a Katus. She'll mention, but not elaborate, as it meaning rabbit people. Okay, makes sense. Since I think I remember reading somewhere about this being like a former colony or something, but that probably is me misremembering something. You know, the classic case of, oh yeah, this setting that is more fantastical is a former space colony or something like that. I don't think that's accurate. I might be misinformation, so who knows. Oh? The outskirts region of the Great Lakes. I've met all kinds of people from all over Terra, but I've never met anyone who referred to Iberia, to the Iberian Sea that way. Yeah, the sinners must be such a group of weirdos. Terra? Iberia? Never heard of it. As I found myself puzzled by these unfamiliar terms, a very obvious question suddenly struck me. Speaking of which, who are you? Yep, hot dog. Yeah, exactly. Very interesting, though. Very interesting. I do find world building to be quite fascinating in terms of construction, which is one of the reasons why I love Project Moon so much. I have heard that Arknights has fantastic world building, but once again, I don't want to get into even more gachas. I'm already playing yeah. So is he counting 3 from there? Yeah, I'm already playing 5 as it is. I cannot play more. Huh? Really? You fellas haven't introduced yourselves to each other yet? It's just a lot to take in. Plus, Dante, I don't think she can hear Dante. It's understandable. You did just wake up from a pretty harrowing experience. She is, actually, would you like to do the honors yourself? I am Amiya, the leader of Rhodes Island. Please call me Amiya. It's vague as hell as yet, but from what we know, the ancients and elders, the two groups of animal people, with elders being mythical creatures, were imported as well, animals from a different world, so was maybe a colony? It called Talos too, and then via fuckery became human-like over a long, long time. Yeah, I can imagine. I am Dante, manager of Limbus Company. I know I'm late, but thanks for saving my bacon. It seems that this Rhodes Island is a pretty big corporation, but... Gregor trails off ominously and scratches his head before continuing with some mild trepidation. This young lady with the rabbit ears doesn't know what the head is at all. And that would be just incomprehensible for city folk. How do you not know about the head? As far as I know, there aren't any organizations in Terra with the same characteristics as the one Mr. Gregor explained. At least not with a name like the Head. Although, sorry, it's Rhodes Island, not Rodeo Island. Sorry, Gregor. There's kinda bad with names. So, what you're saying is that we're not in the city anymore. It'd be weird for any higher up at these huge corporations to know less about the head than we do, let alone be completely clueless about it. Yeah, makes logical sense. If they have no idea what the head is, then we are definitely not in the city. Well, maybe we've tumbled into a previously undiscovered zone in the outskirts or the ruins. Probably. Or maybe we've really found ourselves in a completely different world. As people who regularly use dimension-based technology, it's possible. If their conjecture is correct, we are in way bigger trouble than I thought, because Mephistopheles isn't here. This wasn't like the time we accidentally stranded ourselves in the outskirts via a door in the corridor. Amiya stared at me with some concern, as though she felt my distress. I think I can draw a connection to something else that's happening here. Really? Yes, recently anomalous signs and events have been occurring in Iberia, ever since a mysterious dimensional door appeared at sea. Okay, now we know what we have to do. Tumble and ram our faces into that door. And it's been said that this dimensional door is connected to some very, very distant, to something that we've never observed before, so... Oh, this is a big one. For posterities, the other race groups are the Sarkaz, varying kinds of evil spirits, from liches to vampires to wendigos to gargoyles, have an engineered angelic offshoot called the Sancta, who are also the original inhabitants who also became humanoid over time, and I guess the best word is Farant Mutkin of local gods, elves being the biggest case, and also Aegir, sea ancients but fish and happening quicker. And this is how Arknights lore is long and rambling. Yeah, I can imagine that if I played it, I would probably be reading basically a novel. Because I've heard that I'd be reading a novel. Seems reasonable to theorize that the dimensional door is how we managed to cross over to this world. Okay? Okay, so there's a dimensional door that we have to cross through. I really would have appreciated Faust's input. Where'd all the other sinners go, anyway? A bit late on the uptake to be gawking around for the other sinners now, don't you think? Believe it or not, I am condensing the absolute... Yeah, to what been drip-fed over the years, and none of this really matters in the crossroad. Yeah, I understand, like, obviously they're not going to give us a massive lore dump like this, because, one, that would take a lot of time. Two, it would be unnecessary, and kind of just slow down the pace of the story. Plus, it makes sense for us to only really know what the sinners and Dante learn. They're at a settlement near here, where they're all helping out with various odds and ends of the village, while taking turns searching for Dante, of course. You know, I never thought about how difficult it would be to search for someone when we're like fish out of water, too. Man, barely even got a wink of sleep since yesterday. Everyone's got to be really tired then, so it's just you two out here for now. No, Ishmael and Yisang are the other half of the search party, and we just happen to be the last group in the rotation. They must be searching elsewhere to find you, Manager Bud. We got the news early thanks to Amiya's comm gear, but the other team didn't. Yeah, we got lucky. The other team, well, we don't have any way to get in touch with them, so they'll probably continue their search until the shift is done. Honestly, well, to be fair, Dante doesn't need to eat or sleep, at least if prosthetic technology is correct. And he probably was floating for a bit, so at least about a day or so. So however long it took the sinners to wash up on the beach, and then however long it took Dante to wake up. Are we talking about that village you mentioned earlier? Right, you've not been there yet. I guess it's a bit off the beaten path. Well, we're going to have to rendezvous with the other sinners anyway, so let's head to the village for now. Something seems to pique Amia's interest as she fell into a contemplative silence before carefully speaking. I would like to accompany you there. Sure, you're a cute bunny girl. I would bring you with. Sure, I don't see why not. You helped us find Manager Bud, and more importantly, you seem to know a lot more about this place than we do. Plus, I'd imagine she'd be interested in these people from another dimension. Kinda would bring interest. Plus, you know, guy with flaming clock for a head. Aha, I don't actually know Iberia that well either. But I should be able to be of some help. Don't really see this proper, but Amia's stronger than she looks. I'm assuming, because I know she's like a unit in the game, they've closed their borders and have practically locked out any foreign influences from affecting them. But I did get a briefing about the mission. Closed borders, huh? Then how did you get in, Miss Amia? Terrans in general are ridiculously overtuned compared to baseline humans, which city-goers are, pre-augmentics, yeah. Although city-goers also have bullshit like ego and Shin and Mang if they can access that. And other potential ways of just becoming utterly ridiculous. We followed Dr. Kalksi's directions and illegally crossed the country's border. Illegally? Does that mean you crossed the border without obtaining any permission, Amiya? Yeah, that's what illegally means, Honglu. And while this probably sounds so weird, we have to keep in mind that in the city, permits of entry is probably a big thing, especially into countries and nests. So it does make sense why that is a bit shocking to us. We had to cross the border somehow in order to investigate how and why the dimensional door came to be. Huh. Is it normal for pharmaceutical companies to be doing that? Well, I think they're also like a mercenary company. Large pharmaceutical companies often dispatch their agents for missions. And we have to remember we have city mentality, where, you know, corporations just have military forces, or you hire fixers, or you just have to be able to fight. Yes, Rose Island is, in essence, a pharmaceutical company researching treatments for people infected with auropathy. But we also work to prevent and assist in the management of various situations that can occur in high-risk areas. High-risk areas, huh? Wait, what about your companions? I doubt you came all this way here on your own. That's, we were forced to split up due to the certain forces that were in pursuit. Wait, stops. And Arknights are pretty fast and loose by contrast. Extant mind, especially if for places like Iberia that have reason to be being closed off, but given almost every city of note is, well, mobile, it's because it's the successor to a certain nation's attempt to organize itself. Yeah? Amia's ears twitched as she came to a stop and began scanning the surrounding area. Then, there. As we stood about confused, Amia, noticing something, pointed towards the seashore hidden behind large and craggy rock formations. Oh, don't worry, I enjoy it, so it's the Balkans times 10. Okay, makes sense. What are we supposed to... Huh? There we saw something being wielding... someone wielding a lengthy greatsword. Ah, yes. The person that has... The person that people have made jokes about... Belka from Ace Combat. Okay. Bickering with two familiar faces. Ah, so the fish found the fish. Again, move. You're in my way. So you're in the way. You needn't worry as you do. We have had ample experience battling monsters who are much like them. Yeah, we've battled a lot of things. To make a very long story short, everyone not Sarkaz really does not want the Sarkaz nation to properly exist again. It's a thing again about my current plot. Okay. Okay, I can imagine that things just get complicated with the geopolitics and a lot of other stuff. I know I've heard that they've done a very good job creating different national identities between the various groups. Listen, I'm not worried. It's... Come on, better to have 3 fighters than 1, right? Besides, you're the first person we ran into out here, so we've got a lot of questions to ask. Yisang, Ishmael, Dante, you are unharmed. And here I was getting ready for a 3-day-long search. What a relief. We were all really worried that you might never be able to find you. Especially because, remember, without Dante, they will die if they get killed. And we do not want to die if we get killed. We managed to find them thanks to the help from Miss Amiya here. Amiya? Are you two acquainted? I've heard this character's name before. I think that character's name is Skadi. I've heard her in reference to, well, when I watched some FGO stuff with Skadi, you know, the character Skadi, who is the best quick support, both of her. I've heard a person basically make a joke and, you know, starting a review of Skadi from FGO, doing a review of this Skadi, and then popping back to FGO's Skadi after the joke is over. Not a good time for a reunion. It can wait until after we take out the sea monsters. Skadi, are those organisms the Seaborn Dr. Calcit mentioned? I'm going to assume that that this line here has indicated when this pops up in the Arknights timeline. They're sea terrors, to be specific. The less sophisticated ones among them. And they're probably here for me. Skadi is strictly a code name. Most characters' names are actually... But yeah, Skadi acute. Also, very important for the Seaborn plot. Yeah, I've listened to a few Arknights songs and can't remember what it was, but Hunter's song, I think one song that was basically like building out, using paper to build a dam or something. I've heard a few songs that are pretty good. I like sea shanty vibes, so obviously I listen to them. Sea terrors? I heard the sticky noise of something viscous slithering against the rocks. Ah. When I turned to face the origin of the unsettling noise, I smelled the heavy, wet scent of brine. At the end of my gaze awaits strange monsters, unlike distortions, unlike abnormalities, unlike anything I've ever seen. It is as though the sea itself was encroaching on the land. I was almost certain we weren't at the Great Lakes, but I'm not so sure anymore. Yeah, this basically just feels like regular Great Lake nonsense to Ishmael. Her experience with the thick scent of brine at the Great Lakes must have put her in a wary mood, as Ishmael seemed to be a lot more apprehensive about these monsters than anyone else. Sailor's instinct, but we know how to deal with it. Kill and be killed. Do you think those creatures could be whales or mermaids? I don't know. The Great Lakes and the outskirts are full of unexplored mysteries, after all. You know, I expect us to encounter a Cyclops and Scylla and maybe Charybdis at some point because, you know, Otis. Dante, what do your senses say? It's unclear. I'd say the closest comparison I could make is with the whales, but even that's not conclusive. Huh. More enemies on the horizon. We should prepare for battle. Doesn't seem like we can talk things out with them. And so, let's take them out. In the city, violence is very easy. No hesitation. So, let's... Although, can you... Once again, I like to imagine this from a perspective of... I like to imagine this from the perspective of our allies. Oh, what's this? On each shoulder. Where, you know, we prep for battle, Dante pulls out his PDA, he pushes a few buttons, and next thing we know, they know, Yi-sang is suddenly looking like that, Ishmael's like that, and Honglu looks like this in this strip, and now Gregor's like that. So what do Seaborn do? Let's see, so... In terms of cash power... Okay, so if I attack them, I'm going to have to kill them quickly. Okay. Nervous impairment. Become staggered, then take fixed damage equal to health and remove this effect. Okay, so I have to take that out. So it seems like these are cases where you need to focus fire, take them out quickly. Any passives I should know about? Without... Okay. Actually, like, the event affords so much direct... Yeah, I can imagine. I think that, if I remember correctly, that's one of the reasons why they can't keep this as a permanent thing. Because they're importing a lot of stuff and they can't have too much legal trouble. O'Brien gained... Okay, so... Right, Nethersea Brand. Serious top of the Nethersea the end turn. Take fixed damage. Ready to increase the nervous impairment stack. Terror. Is anyone top of the brand? Not that I can see. Alright, so let's get started with this. You two do your thing, get your stuff going. And Ishmael, kick them in the face. That if you keep doing well, yeah, they could meet a more permanent agreement. Plus, I'd imagine that. Plus, I sort of imagine that if this does well, it might trigger, say, I don't know, an Arknights crossover with Project Moonside, which would probably be a fun thing. They could very easily do something like that once they have a better relationship. Okay, Honglu, do the thing. Hey, Shower Pax, attack! Answer your lord, Hey, Shower Pax. Send in the horse. Carve a path for thine lord. Or slay these beasts. Explain the whole Arknights even more canon situation. I think I remember hearing something about, I think I remember hearing something like that, because I know Arknights apparently had a lot of crossovers. So I don't really know the details.
시간 끌 것 없이 모조리 지워버리죠.
And Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you mean. Does make sense, does make sense. I can see where people are coming from with that mindset. But at the same time, I think that I do agree with the sentiment that it doesn't really matter. If the... Sure, it's... Yeah, sure, crossover canon. But that's not that much of an issue. And at least in my viewpoint, it's just... As long as they don't put... Sure, crossover can be canon. But as long as they don't do something like put story-critical plot elements into a temporary event, then that would be an issue. But I don't think they do that, so... Still, my team is doing pretty well here. Cavalry is hitting hard. Now, Hong Lu, stab thine self.
죄를 받아들이나이다.
무상한 목숨.
Crimson Lotus took that guy out. Good, good, good. This is Limbus Company's unique strategy. Oh, I'm guessing that's how they finish. With other things are also canon to it. The one op that appeared in the event first had her profile be a scrub version when she released. But the R6 peeps in question are semi-secret, so... Fair enough, fair enough. Personally, one thing I do find... Again, can you imagine the Limbus Company combat method being seen from the Arknights' perspective? Because, well, the Sinners are utterly suicidal because they can afford to be, which is a very interesting tactic. All remaining enemies have retreated to the sea. Good work, everyone. Didn't think I'd have to deal with anything remotely like this outside the Great Lake. You can say that again. I would have taken us the whole day if that Skadi character didn't occupy the other half, while Miss Rabbit helped us out from a distance. Did she? Must have missed the support. As we were catching our breath after the battle, I heard a brief hum. When I turned to look at the source, I saw Skadi glaring at me with palpable alarm. Although it does occur to me that, this is mostly a joke side of things, but I imagine that from their perspective, our fighting style must look very weird. We're not a tower defense. That was representing is basically be a second player with ops that basically nil redeploy time. Yeah, basically, from their perspective, it's just a case of our units can just die and come back very quickly, and we have these weird super moves, and occasionally we kill ourselves. Strange people who transform, and a head of clock. I guess they're both technically true. While it's nothing more than a theory at this point, I think they have a lot to do with the dimensional door we're supposed to be investigating. That said, I think sinners avoid dying in this event. Possibly. So far I can avoid dying. Nice to meet you, I guess. Although it's probably a case where the sinners avoid dying, but they probably get injured and Dante does his thing, which is easier to miss, or not really think too hard about. I only hear a ticking clock. Oh, that's because only us sinners can hear Dante's voice. Huh? What's up? No, I'm just wondering how Miss Amiya can seemingly understand Dante. Yeah, that's what I was noticing. I noticed that she was sort of understanding what we were saying. Personally, I'm going to blame the original April Fool's event doing something funny. Oh yeah, what's going on here? Yeah, it completely flew over my head that I didn't even question how weird this is. Your voice sounds like a ticking clock to me too, but I don't know. It's almost like I can sense what you're trying to say. Okay, what kind of emotion they're trying to convey? Ah, I see, I see. You must have gotten a bit of Virgilus wired into you when we temporarily had the weird stuff going on. And something... Okay, so don't spoil for me. If I... Okay, that does make sense. That does make sense. Don't worry about spoiling that for me. It's fine. Fine, I'll probably forget it, and again, I don't know if I'm ever going to play Arknights. Maybe if I become big enough that I go into this... Yeah, Ibrahim Originium, exactly. Maybe one day I'll play Arknights if I ever get big enough to try this streaming stuff full time and do a lot more streams, but who knows, until then. Her explanation and reminded me of the blue boy in Sinclair's past, but I don't quite feel that uncanny sense from Amiya that I felt from them. So she can read me kind of like how Virgilius can, I guess. Well, I don't think it's a bad thing. That's true. It's been a bit of a hassle to always need Fausto Honglu to translate for you, Dante. I mean, it's real Vader on the first chapter. Still a secret from others for a while, kind of thing. The usual... Ah, yeah, so basically it's a secret from... It's a secret from the other characters, but not from us players. Makes sense, makes sense. I'd like to know exactly how she can understand Dante. But I don't think we've got the luxury of time to sit down and figure this out. Yeah, probably a good idea to get back to everyone else. So, are we heading back? Sounds like a plan. It's not like we know anywhere else to go, right? Oh. And Miss Rabbit, he'll be tagging along too. She said she'd help us find our way back. I'm glad to be working with you two. Also, Miss Ishmael, Mr. Honglu. Took the words right out of my mouth. You've already helped us plenty, and you clearly know a lot more about this place than we do. The journey is long. Perhaps embarking on it ere the sun's fall would be wise. AKA, get back to town before night. Yeah. How long's the journey? No idea. It's not like we had a clock with us. I do know that it's not far, though. We just need to walk along the coastline for a bit. Scotty quietly points in my direction. Oh, Dante can't tell us the time because they're not on time. Yeah, we're always stuck at this current point, and, you know, the whole might be the doomsday clock thing going on. Then why the clock head? I didn't exactly choose to get myself a clock-shaped head. Well, I think you did, you just don't remember why. I look away from Skadi's inquisitive eyes, which were quite solidly fixed on my head. The coasts of Iberia are hardly good places for people to live. Those things can go anywhere in this world, but they thrive at places that meet the ocean. Has been advancing slowly, so, you know, gradual enough. This is the most Skadi has ever talked. Okay, so I'm guessing she's usually the silent type character. So how did people manage to build a village at a place like this? Ah, yeah, so she's one of those, she's a kudere. Yeah, kudere. The monsters are called Seaborn, or Sea Terrors, yes? While it is true that they pose certain difficulties, they are hardly the kind of monsters with strength to bring Scourge and drive out the local populace. Those were just the foot soldiers. Don't judge them based on that brief skirmish. She's just telling us to be on guard, right? Skadi can be a bit curt, but she's not a bad person. I don't think she said anything wrong. Nothing rules out the existence of stronger variants of those creatures being out there. Skadi's concern only serve to fan my curiosity. But something about her expression communicated that I probably shouldn't pry, so I quietly quickened my pace as we walked to the village. Okay, so that's the introduction bit. Quite interesting. Current theory is that there's going to be a village defense section, and they're probably going to use that as an example of Doctor and Rhode Island methods.
이렇게 쉽게 통과하리라곤 상상도
And now we got the loot. Lovely. Oh, I see what you mean. I got both. Both hard mode and normal mode.
조금 풀어줘도 괜찮겠죠.
So that means I also got, yeah. So progress on both. I do like how they're adding the hard mode by default. Allows people who are earlier on to participate in the event. Still very good. Village of the Dead Lighthouse. Very good and interesting. This hardly looks like a village. It's more like the ruins of one, isn't it? Well, yeah, but ruins make good baselines for villages. It doesn't seem like they've done any proper upkeep to the place. Not in a while, at least. Same also goes for the X-Completion lunacy, though you have to actively visit... Hello! Welcome, Scar! Welcome, Scar! Welcome to the stream, Scar. You missed my utterly horrendous gacha luck. I kid you not, I got past, I think I got to like 250 before I got my first one, and I almost got up to pity a second time before the rest of them showed up in a single roll. It was utterly terrible luck. If you want to look at it, it's obviously on the VOD, but my god, I was going insane. Okay, personally, I blame Magscab over here on Twitch because Magscab is just has terrible luck, and I think he gives it to me. It doesn't seem like they've done any proper upkeep, not in a while at least. They're really here, living together. Strange buildings tell the stories of former prosperity by a bygone era. Yeah, it was really bad luck. On the plus side, I got plenty of shards. My stockpile is still ridiculously massive, so I should fairly easily be able to build it up again. Yeah, I've been building that stockpile since like several cantos ago. My upside of basically having everything and being a day one player, you have very deep pockets. Tell the stories of former prosperity from a bygone era. Our steps leave no footprints on the wet, muddy ground. On it, I see rotting sign marked with the name Faro Morto. Everywhere I look in the village, I see evidence of long silent abandonment. We don't see these kinds of abandoned looking ruins often in the city either. Yeah, because when something's abandoned, someone comes to claim it because, you know, property taxes. Well, yeah, there's always someone or something out there waiting to capitalize on that free real estate, be it a syndicate or a corporation, and fix it up better than this, at least. Yeah, that's the thing about the city, because its territory is limited, and the population is just massive. Unless you have the power to keep someone off of a place, abandoned property just gets snapped right back up. So where are the sinners? Ah, there's a clearing down there, where... Ah, wait. We were entrapped betwixt a twain of great ships, narrowing, winds against our sails. Ooh. And that is when young Ishmael boomed, her command most resonant. Say no more. I know exactly where she is. I didn't even have to try to search for them. That unmistakable sonorous and familiar voice echoed triumphantly between the empty buildings. That's Don Quixote's voice, when she's sharing her adventurous tales. There she was, standing atop a low podium like an actor on stage, regaling a group of people in rags with tales of our adventures like a traveling thespian, which is probably the most entertainment these people have had in a long time. Ahem. Answer ye dogs, oarsmen! 'Tis the moment I, Ishmael, the first mate of vessel Mephistopheles, shall navigate... Ah! Stop. Hold on. Just what do you think you're doing? Sharing your story, of course, with her classic Don Quixote style. I'm going to be talking a lot, so I gotta keep hydrated. Yeah, Don would definitely be the easiest one of anyone to find. Pretty much, just look for the biggest crowd, the nearest fixer, or the nearest source of evil. Young Ishmael, unhand my mouth, for I was just about to regale them with the most fantastic tale of the great gasp, Manager Esquire. Verily, thou hast returned with Manager Esquire safely in tow. What? They found Clockhead? A burning clock for a head? When in Iberia, yep. When I was a child, I heard a story about a legendary Sarkaz with a flaming head. Why would someone like that visit our humble village? While their exterior may carry... Sorry, let me get into Mersault voice. Ahem. While their exterior may carry elements that inspire fear in some, there is no cause for alarm. Yeah, they might look like that, but they're Dante, our manager, and Scotty looks at our group. Oh, hello. I'm sorry, who are you two? They're two very nice people who helped us find Dante. This is Miss Amia, leader of Rhodes Island. And this is Miss Scotty, their operator. They'll be coming along with us for a little while. With us? We believe that the dimensional door, which we at Rhodes Island are investigating, has something to do with why you suddenly woke up here in Iberia. And, you know, I sort of predict that if the city folk had access to such a door and ability, that the corporation with control would send people through and basically use it to exploit and mine and gather resources. Because that's how the city operates. They send an occupying force through, establish a foothold, and then start exploiting as much as they can, probably taking whatever magic plot rock they have here. I heard something about a cancer rock, and start selling it, and not really caring about the effects it has on people, because that's the city. Hiccups. That's the city for you. Don't you think, chat? That sounds exactly like something the city would do. As Amia was bringing the sinners up to speed... Okay. Either that, or they treat it like another outskirts. Possibly. But this place has unique resources, so... The villagers who were staring at us curiously approached us. Yeah, the cancer rocks are not a good idea to take, but that means the city would take them. Exactly. Did our conversation manage to convince them that we're not a threat? I sure hope so. You are friends of our saviors? Saviors? Verily, 'tis quite the grand title, yet that is indeed the word by which we address. To be more precise, by saviors they're referring only to Faust and Otis. Faust gave me a light nod when we made eye contact, but I could tell that her lips were drawing a very, very subtle smiling arc. Are you the Faust that... Do you have your Discord connection? Because that determines what Faust is going to be like. If she has her Discord connection, then she is going to suddenly be able to explain things better than the locals. If not, then, then she'll be the Faust who's curious. So, I'm guessing something did happen. They were quite mistrustful upon our initial arrival. An elf person. What business do outsiders have here? What if they're from the Inquisition? Oh no. What do we do after all we went through to get here? Faust is still extremely intelligent without, so yeah, just a normal day in Iberia. Exactly. Faust is still very intelligent, there's no denying that. But there's a difference between Faust being just a genius and Faust being a genius who has access to information that is otherwise impossible to know. Calm yourselves, everyone. None of them are carrying what appears to be their scriptures or lamps. Let's first try to see who they are. Yes, well, is that Faust with Faust cord, before you got cut off for, is that she's essentially suffering from the same issue students have. Yeah, same issue. Plus, I think it basically is the case where it doesn't really feel that, there's none of that thrill of discovery, thrill of finding out and learning something new, because, well, everyone else already knows it. It's just like, why should I bother if I can just ask people on the Faust cord? Let's first try to see who they are. Man, I don't think they're going to trust us anytime soon. They're all old curmudgeons. Let's STNC, then PTSD. Sinclair, translate. You can't do that, Ryoshu. We can't pillage their storage depots. Okay, so that's what PTSD means. It looks like they already have it hard enough as it is. I don't think STNC is a good way to get started either. Snap their necks completely. Should we just find help elsewhere? Or just looking at how thin their arms are? I don't think they're in any shape to help us out. Yeah, they definitely look like people who are in a very, very rough situation and probably only surviving against the Seaborn either through human sacrifice or by just avoiding notice. Perhaps we could inquire as to our whereabouts ere we are to decide our lodging. Well, the landscape is certainly reminiscent of U-Corps, but I don't recall seeing or learning about any place that looks like this, though. I can't say I've been to every corner of U-Corp. I ask again. Wait, let me get a good voice to this character. Yes, I have a good voice. I ask again, what business do outsiders have here? Their fingers are tightening around the grips of their weapons. Prolonged silence will most likely turn this into a hostile encounter. Well, we can't have that. Hi, we're from Limbus Company. We're fixers of justice! Yeah, that fixers... Oi, don't you know when to keep it down? Fixers? That over there. It's a ship blueprint, isn't it? Are you looking to repair a vessel by any chance? All these construction materials seem to suggest so. Okay. And I see how Otis would know this, because Otis is an ruler of an island kingdom. Chief. This does not concern you. It's not something a mere outsider can understand. Curious. I've never seen an energy source like this before. Have you run the tests to rule out any stability issues? And I think Otis is showing a bit of her backstory here. It seems to power the heat exchange via some method comparable to utilization of fusion energy. Have you any thoughts on this, Miss Faust? the general design structure is somewhat old-fashioned, because remember, the city tech is basically magic at this point in some cases, but there certainly are inspired parts to this design, particularly with the usage of the energy core source. While its stability would need to be further studied, this technology seems to be incredibly energy efficient. Yeah, because these people... Yeah, my dude, meet Faust, a genius. You identified all that merely by glancing at... Wait, no, wrong voice. You identified all that merely by glancing at this blueprint? You must be the village chief, then. If so, I have a proposal for you. In return for assisting in their ship repair, we were promised a ride on their vessel. Miss Faust has theorized that, perhaps, by going out to sea, we may be able to find a way to return to whence we came. And now we know that the portal exists, so now we have a direction. Does that mean we can find a way back somewhere out there in the sea? Nothing is certain yet, Dante. At this moment, we are working based on a hunch. I think Faust is very happy about that. It's one of those interesting things with Faust. She is very much... Obviously, she does things based on hunches and information, but the big thing is the fact that her... How should I phrase this? Oh, yes. The big thing, at least in my opinion, is the fact that she actually enjoys it when she has to make hunches and guesses and try to learn something. It's very fun to see Faust happy like that. A hunch? Sensing the implicit omen of her choice of words, I slowly turned around to look at Faust, who nodded solemnly in response. If we're really in a different world, even her Gesellschaft has to be. No issues were encountered in the repair process. I wonder if Faust's stories will be that she regrets whatever bargain she made for knowledge, since it means she can no longer learn anything. It's entirely possible. One idea that I think might pop up in the future with Faust is the concept of disconnecting. It would be kind of interesting if in order for Faust to, grow and learn, she needs to give up her connection. She needs to disconnect from the Faust cord. She whispers in a low voice. My connection to Jessuslap is currently operating at a suboptimal level, Dante. So not full disconnection like on the warp train. Though it's still connected, at least. Indeed, it is. However, even exchanges of simple information are taking up to dozens of hours by current calculations. Is this a warp train situation because we're in a different dimension? The cores should be identical. We have been connected to an unidentified, unpredictable dimension. However, Faust is aware that the pathway to our original dimension is yet to close this time. Unlike the situation back aboard the warp train. Ah, I see. So it's a case where the Discord connection is going through the portal and connecting there, but it's limiting the bandwidth. So it's basically Faust is operating on potato internet. So to get back to where we came from, indeed, traveling through the pathway is the most feasible solution. And that explains how Faust knew that the best solution was likely to essentially build the ship and go out to sea, because he could probably logic or detect which direction the signal was strongest. And from that, you came up with the whole plan to repair the ship and sail out to sea. Yes, well, I am also a genius after all. Makes you wonder what serves as the server or sender, given Faust herself isn't. Personally, I'm more interested in knowing who is the admin. Who is the server admin of the Faust cord? Amiya conjectured that we probably came through a dimensional door of sorts. Looks like that dimensional door might be what Faust is looking for. With high likelihood, yes. At least there's a way back. I find myself calming down a little. Because we have a heading, we have a pathway to follow. So now we know where to go. Oh, speaking of which, when do you think you can wrap up the repair job? As fortune should have it, the majority of the most time-consuming parts of the repair have already been completed by the locals. It shouldn't take us more than a day or two to get its core parts ship-shape again, Executive Manager. Very good, Otis, very good. Well, we'll be staying here for a few more days then. How did you manage last night? Well, like I said earlier, we've been keeping ourselves busy looking for you this whole time. We took turns helping with the repairs and resting, but I doubt any of us got a proper night's rest. So now that we don't have people looking for Dante, get the extra rest, use the extra energy to get more stuff. Still, we weren't cold thanks to the villagers who kept the fire going for us all night. I'm going to assume that Seaborn don't like fire. I'm going to assume that fire is anti-Seaborn, at least at this stage. Because that sounds like something that would work. Not to mention how they helped us a ton with that local map they drew. Oh, also, Chief handed us this earlier. What's it for? Looks like a sack to collect water. Give it here. I know how to get that installed. It must be to repay Miss Faust and Miss Otis' efforts at repairing their ship, yet the service that they provide us is certainly quite generous, even when taking the transactional nature into account. Well, yeah, because I'm assuming they lack the technical knowledge to do it correctly. I mean, okay, it can't hurt them I don't recall anything about fire being especially anti-Seaborn. Well, it's mostly a guess from my end. They're really giving us the best treatment they can, huh? As for food, we managed to find ourselves with some cookies and bread Rhodia kept in her pockets. Of course Rhodia kept food, she keeps snacks everywhere. Didn't want to eat into their food supply when they're already pretty tight, you know? Rhodia carried enough cookies and bread for 12 people? Yeah. That's actually I remember reading some stuff about people who went through famine and starvation. It breeds specific behaviors. So while Rhodia's habit of keeping food on her and gorging herself is certainly seen as greedy, that's actually a thing that a lot of famine survivors end up developing. Because they were never certain if they were going to get their next meal, famine survivors often develop habits of, say, eating as much as possible, or whenever they get the chance, they gorge themselves and carry around extras. Because, well, they never know if that might be the last meal they have for the next week. They did offer us some nosh, those dried fish things, but we refused. I ain't about taking food from the needy. Dried fish things, huh? I remember Verdian, or was it Mags? One of you two mentioned Innsmouth, and that gives unfortunate implications. No need to concern yourselves so much with our hospitality. You have done more than enough to earn your keep. I turned around to look at the source of this low, rumbling voice. I have the exact opposite voice needed, and saw an old man in an outfit that seemed to distinguish itself amongst the other villagers. There you are, Chief. Is there a place for us to stay the night? You know, it's kind of weird. Otis is being very cordial, and it's strange. I kind of get the feeling that with people outside the city, Otis might be a bit more polite. Although that could just be my perceptions, might be wrong. We do have places to shelter from the misty humidity at the very least. There is an empty building there, so feel free to occupy it for the night. Oh, are you sure? I mean, I don't mind sleeping in the streets myself. Well, yes, it's generally a good idea, but have you met Otis? Have you seen how Otis acts sometimes? Right, sacred hospitality as well. We are guests for them, so that makes sense. Hey, speak for yourself. I've been looking forward to sleeping with a roof over my head since, like, yesterday. Of course, Rodion. That's an interesting theory. It could also be that Otis is concerned that they'll try to kill her in her sleep. Ways, you don't slight your host, and your host is obliged to take care of you. Yep, Greek hospitality rights. You'll catch cold sleeping in the elements in this environment, which is fine for me, for the rest of you. By me, for the rest of you, but we cannot afford to have the executive manager or our honored guests suffer that fate. Honored guests? I heard what happened from the 4 who left in search of executive manager. First, I would like to begin by imparting my infinite gratitude to you for finding and rescuing the executive manager. Very good. I hear that you are the leader of a pharmaceutical company. There's Otis's scheming voice. This acquaintance shall certainly come in handy in case our stay becomes significantly prolonged. So Otis is playing the angle that if things go wrong, we might need to find someone to stay with, and if you have money, then you probably have a decent stuff. Plus, you know, I think the Sinners would be a pretty good set of agents or operatives. They would certainly bring us a brand of bullshit to the Rhodes Island stuff. Now let me take us. I'm going to take a bit of a snack, so I might not speak for a few moments. Fried meat. I always love a good bit of biltong. For mention, biltong is a South African dish. I specifically enjoy having ostrich biltong. It's quite delicious. Does the tree print money? Well, gold. But directly sell it for money. Also, they have redonka rich employees as well. Oh yeah, makes sense. I think, because I remember correctly, a lot of people on Rhode Island need regular treatments because they have that whole rock cancer disease or something. I'm surprised by her boldness to say something so materialistic when they're standing right there. Can I stay in your village too, Chief? The village chief took a brief glance at the hems by her right wrist, then nodded. Welcome to Faro Morta. You're welcome to stay for as long as you want. I'm guessing that things on her right wrist is an indication of, like, infection or something. And please, do let me know if you find yourself without food. Our food supplies may be tight indeed, but we have enough to share with those who helped repair the village. Oripathy, if I remember right. Yeah, that's the thing. Oripathy. Oh, yeah, better not go back on your word later. Hee. I wonder what kind of local delicacies await. Fried fish like they were eating earlier, maybe? Hey, Chief. What is it? Just how are you surviving out here by the sea? Perhaps the question is how we are surviving may be somewhat misdirected, for we are only pursuing every possible avenue because we must survive. The chief responds to Skadi's perceived hostility with a hearty smile. After leaving some firewood for the night, he left. Okay, so I don't know much, but I'm going to assume these people might be bad guys, or they might actually be our enemies. I'm going. Can't learn much more from here. Huh? You going somewhere? At this hour? Scotty, does this have something to do with the coast? I remember what you said before we got to the village. Something about how coasts are hardly good places to live in. Dante wants to know if this is something to do with the coast. Do you understand an Aegir language? Aegir language? No. Scotty just spoke in Aegirian. Well, yes, because Dante has weird universal translator powers. I couldn't understand a word of Scotty and the chief's conversation because I don't speak Aegirian. But we have bullshit golden bows. It may only be that there were enough lexical similarities between one of the city languages and the language Scotty spoke for them to comprehend the meaning. Good save, Faust. Good save. Don't mention the fact that we have universal translation abilities. Weird coincidence. You'd be surprised. I think, or I don't remember. I think it's a case where Dante requires written text to be translated. I don't think he has universal reading comprehension, just universal listening comprehension. Anyway, I have some things to look into. Something you're all too slow to see. You still have to tell us about it later. Please remember, you're not on a solo mission, Scotty. This is a team effort from Rhodes Island. Will do. Okay, so I don't know my Arknights lore, but I'm going to assume that this is related to Scotty's backstory, and I know Scotty is deeply connected with Seaborn stuff. I think I remember reading about a Church of the Deep or something, which sounds very much Eldritch cultist. Nodded lightly before leaping off into the night, out of our sights. I'm kinda worried. He's not the best with people, but he's also pretty thoughtful. Well, she'll be okay. I hope so. I certainly hope so. Ah, we should head inside. The sun's starting to set already. Oh yeah, we can probably just pick an unlit building and stay the night there, right? Trying our best to ignore the mood, started to turn awkwardly, made our way into a nearby unoccupied building. 1 second, having a snack. Oh, so Scar, oh yeah, I already have a suspicion, don't worry. Scar, so apparently Scar says over on YouTube says that the cutscenes of Arknights are very long, and that's why he sort of skipped a lot of them. And apparently that's why he doesn't really know about Scotty's backstory, which, again, fair enough. So I guess we're going to have another lore dump section. I'm going to have another bite. Magstab generally skips and skims as well. I wouldn't. I'm the kind of person that reads through a lot of stuff. Okay. So, the lore can get a bit dry, which I can understand that sometimes. Writing lore can get a bit weird and difficult sometimes. Because not all of it is directly in the main story. Ah, there's the issue. Side events, ARGs, operator logs. what it's just with Seaborn Eldritch stuff and make hunters to kill the Seaborn. Ah, so classic, I need to kill this thing. I know, I'm going to take this thing's DNA and inject it into an orphan or something like that. Sounds like a terrible idea, but, well, I guess it worked or something. Or backfired horribly. Long-winded and dry in the summation of Arknights. I think it's gotten better personally, but still long-winded and dry. That is a fair enough assessment in these sort of situations. Personally, the big thing that I have is just the fact that you have to find some lore with ARGs and some stuff that makes it a bit trickier. Although it can't be as bad as trying to look at stuff for games like, say, Honkai Impact 3rd, because my god, that has so many different branching paths, retcons, and changes, not to mention the wiki being one of the worst wikis I've ever experienced. Oh, welcome to the stream. Oh, look, we have a new follower. Oh, thank you. Eldom the Gnome, welcome. Thank you for your follow. I'm happy to have you here. I'm always happy to get some more people here, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed the stream. So, now, where were we? All of it is in the operate. So I'm so happy. Always good to see another person because it feels like I'm making progress. Slow and steady progress, but progress until one day I will actually get affiliate status. Now let's begin. Okay, now let's begin talking. Okay, yeah, I understand. Like, I really do not like Fandom Wiki because they have this nasty trend of trying to force everything, and they have so many ads. There's some really obvious stuff that tends to breathe underwater. It's not mentioned if you could. Okay, so we walked past a few narrow buildings and remnants of narrow buildings before we came across a hall large enough to house all 15 or so of us. All the story to... Okay, that's at least convenient. So, okay, now we're ready. With the curtains of the window removed, the smoke has an exit. Whoa, I thought we were doomed to shudder ourselves to sleep with the soaking wet fire fluid and all. I had no idea that'd work. We just need to get a small fire going underneath it. Like, until the wood dries up and catches fire. The downside is being all this smoke. Yeah, you just need to get the fire going. And yeah, even wet logs can make decent firewood. It's clear that she has some field experience, unlike some fools I know. Then again, my Don Quixote voice. I shan't sit here and let her carry the burden of labor alone. Bequeath unto mine ingredients, young Rhodian, for I shall conjure thee a pot of special fixer soup. You're making soup with cookies and jelly. No. You are not getting anywhere near the kitchen again. Not after what you cooked up last time. Hey, for those who remember, your Don Quixote stuff well, as you all probably remember, the kitchen situation, the chicken. Not on the quest to... Advice, don't trust big event stuff for things not... Whatever the fan translations are on, it compels them to make stuff. Yeah, I can imagine. People have a... Let me guess, it's a combination of people just making stuff up and people using headcanons or mistranslating or trying to versus debate stuff or nonsense like that. Well, I must admit, to a certain level of interest, is an example of the beauty of the universe. How the hell did you get that different? How the hell did the fan translations mess it up that badly? Well, it must... Ah. Ostrich meat is so delicious. How? I assume drugs. Yeah. That or just malicious translators. While I must admit to a certain level of interest, as many of our fellows' viscera are often racked with intense agony upon ingesting dishes of your make. Yeah, Don Quixote's cooking is not that good. Perhaps it would be wiser that we save the occasion for a safer environment. So, let's see. Otis or Mersault, cook. Right, don't you remember? We agreed to leave the cooking to Mer or Otis if we're ever in a situation like this, remember? Good call, good call. Did we? See, I think it's because it becomes sort of an unspoken rule after everything that happened. Hell's Chicken left scars, man. It left scars. Remember, back during last year's cooking contest at K-Corp, they were the only two people who managed to get some remotely positive reviews. Yep. Oh, does that mean we'll get to try Otis's cooking once again? Denied. We'll have plenty of time to eat high-calorie foods like cookies and jellies here. I find no reason to do something so inefficient. I'm glad to see that everyone's still energetic given the circumstances. I can't be easy to suddenly wake up in an unfamiliar environment. We've done to weirder. Well, we're all quite used to getting thrown into unfamiliar places. Yeah, we've gone swallowed by a whale, Hongyan. Yeah. Speaking of which, did you manage to reach your colleague, Amia? She shook her head, concerned. They might have lost their comm devices, or maybe they ran into some other trouble. Could they be in danger? Possibly, possibly not. I don't know, but I'm sure they're okay. The doctor, Dr. Calcit, they're both more than capable enough to look after themselves. Long have this curiosity lingered within me. Thus, allow me to inquire. Corporations are, by their nature, organizations in pursuit of profit. That is correct. Yet, the activities of your corporation resemble those of charity organizations, as opposed to pharmaceutical company. Is there aught that might explicit this blurred distinction? Well, to be entirely fair, they probably make a killing out of the medicine they produce. Aha, I wanted to know too. How come a pharmaceutical company like Rhodes Islands helping people? Again, in the city, helping people is unusual. But note, this does imply genuine charity orgs somehow exist in the city. Well, I think it's in this case, it's probably a situation from pretty much only restricted to Nest stuff, and probably mostly with some ulterior motive, like say, I don't know, help just building up your reputation with the common folk before a takeover, making the diseases, then selling not even the cure, but a preventative. Alright, it is true for in Arknights too, Lamal. Oh yeah, true. True. I have heard like hearsay and stuff that Arknights is basically, yeah, the entire situation, our fault. And we have amnesia, so we can't remember it. Past us was kind of a dick. And we apparently... And then, of course, there's the girl that is often compared to Carmen, who I see in fan art. Now, what Honglu said brings up the horrible experiments seen through the cascade of flowing tears in the face of suffering. The embodiment of greed that left a terrible wound in Honglu's fathoms. Yeah, I'm willing to bet if there's any charity organization in the city that's genuine altruistic, it's very, very small and unheard of. Yeah, exactly, Scar. I think that any such charity organization would probably be the equivalent of a thing done by a naive nest dweller. They're thinking that they're doing good, but not really doing all that much. Because we know that people like Rose exists. It's complicated. Long story short, past Doctor was more ruthless, but also extremely conflicted. Okay. Pharmaceutical companies I've seen in my journey were corporations that, despite possessing the capacity to heal, chose to obsess over the profit it can provide. There are many ways in Terra. There are many in Terra who suffer from a disease. The disease crystallizes you. It spreads deeper and deeper into the infected's internal organs, until eventually culminating in their death. The not yet ex-wife at the time decided to implement mindfuckery because she realized they disagreed. Ah yes, you disagreed with my ideas. Mind rape! It's either fuck over this new planet or help save your own race. So everyone can live in a simulation, so it is really... And again, we don't know everything. Yeah, so more plot stuff to happen. It's called Oripathy. Amia showed me the back of her right hand, dotted by what appears to be obsidian crystallizations. Its appearance reminded me of the bio treatments from the back streets, but there was something more to it, something more restless, more sinister. There's some theories Cope it isn't the real priestess, but who knows. Better save for not stream chat, but it's a big thing of X and Y, but Z and ZA. Yeah, I can imagine it's complicated. It's a terrible, painful disease, but there haven't been any cases of full recovery. But there's an even worse problem. Pray tell, what could possibly be worse than an incurable, deadly disease? Oh, hey, render's done. Now I can... Very good, now you can fully slack off, Magscab. Yeah, until the boss, responds. While it varies region by region, discrimination against the infected is widespread across Terra. Those who suffer from it must face unfair treatment. Yisang began with a dark expression. Some are quarantined in places with terrible, inhumane conditions, and there have been massacres too. I don't mean to be callous, but is this oripathy highly contagious? Oh, welcome to welcome, Kirching on YouTube. Welcome. Gang start out like a charity. Well, no. Carmen and Gang started out as more of a research institution, and they weren't really a charity at all. Their entire idea was there's a disease of the mind. We're going to find a way to cure it, but they never actually did anything to quote unquote help people on a large enough scale to be called a charity. At best, they're what we would refer to as like a research institution, and at best they're just like a private enterprise. Oh, hello, Kirching. Well, hello. Oh, I obviously... Hello. Alright, time to load up the thing and post the usual linko. IRC, Carmen started out as a sort of preacher and gathered people. Yeah, she was basically a follower. And there's the usual one. There's the usual nonsense. 1 second. Second, and bam. I swear these... Once a stream we have that nonsense. And anyway, is oropathy highly contagious? No, there have not been any recorded cases of infection by contact, as long as the subjects are alive. But when the infected dies, crystal growths on their body decay and turn to dust, scattering, which is what spreads the plague. Which is probably why I'm guessing massacring them has the exact opposite effect of preventing it. Then, barring environments like active battlefield where casualties are to be expected, staying with close proximity of the infected in daily life seems to pose hardly any risk. Yeah, outside of situations where people can die, it shouldn't be too much of a risk. So what's the problem then? They're already past the point of caring about what the problem is. Infected of infection, I think. Yeah, their entire body goes poof, which would be a big problem, but I'm guessing that because they have a medicine that helps the situation. Once people start feeling iffy, all logic goes out the window. Fear does that to people. Then Rhodes Island's goal has to be, yes, it is important to develop a cure for oropathy, but I think what really matters is that we change the circumstances for the better for the infected. That's not going to be an easy endeavor, though, for that is what gives you your efforts more meaning. Plus, self-preservation, should see she has the disease. I hope you can achieve that goal, Amia. I really do. Sob, for truth. The city, this world, we both live in worlds full of surprises, don't we? Yes, we do. What kind of world did you come from? This city? Oh boy, let me tell you, and let me inflict upon you trauma, second-hand trauma at least. Also, you get Orpy, otherwise potentially reach an Origium overdose. It's ubiquitous enough that everyone... High concentrations are bad, and getting directly pierced is usually worse. Let's see. What kind of place is the city anyway? The kind of place with too many pointless rules? Yeah, that's correct. The kind of place where the moment you think, isn't this too much, you see something even worse? Hello, sweepers! Trying as I might, I couldn't think of a single positive thing about the city. The sinners seem to be in agreement, as most of what came after was quite scathing. The kind of place where good deeds are rarely ever go unpunished, where sympathy is a good attitude to have if you're like getting stabbed in the back. Nothing good ever works out there. Everywhere in the event, but for the record, it's basis of, yeah, it's basically a case of, we have cancer rocks. They give us cancer. But, at the same time, they give us super energy. And, well, if this is the basis of your technology, what can you do? It's a shithole. It's an irrational place full of absurdities. Absurdities is an omnipresence. Therefore, it is not a subject by which one should be aggrieved. We can at least grouse about them, though. I mean, it's the only thing we can do. It would be more correct to experience more and acclimatize oneself to it instead of complaining. You'd say something like that last... You did say something like that last time. Just as the mood was starting to turn sour, Don Quixote's shout shattered through the awkwardness. Let me get into Don Quixote voice. Verily, nary a day goeth by untarnished by villains and their fell deeds. Yet worry thee not, for where evil riseth, so doth fixers of justice too. Don Quixote jumped from her seat and passionately shook her fist, which was followed by a heavy cracking and the sound of small pebbles tumbling down. Don Quixote, watch out! Wah! Hello, cute elf girl. What to do? I'm taking you. Yoink! And from behind the wall, she accidentally broke down. An unfamiliar visage of a villager appeared and stared back at Don Quixote. It appears that she was eating something out of a can while reading a book. Even sealed, Don Quixote is strong, also weak walls, but still. Yeah, keep in mind, Don Quixote uses that big, massive lance. And she is canonically the strongest sinner. How farest thou? Farest thy foot? You gotta apologize first. That seems a tad too hyper today. Apologies, for I hardly expected the wall to crumble with such ease. Alright, art thou unhurt? Any injuries? Two? Pray tell. Or to what? Forget the apology, I just want to know what happens next. The fixers of justice rose up to do what? Once again, I think Don Quixote found quite the audience. And I just love it whenever she gets people like that. Actual people genuinely interested in her stories. Oh! Ooh, hast thou come to me to hear the tale of fixers? I don't know about coming to us, given how Miss Don Quixote was the one who punched the wall down. Oh, isn't it too late an hour? Is it too late an hour? I don't mind waiting till morning if you want to sleep. Nay, not at all. 'Tis quite early an hour for tales, in fact. Prithee, seat thyself here. Ungovernable fool, calm down. We don't even know who she is. Yeah, we don't have a name, and don't you forget to share those... Don't you forget to share those fixer tales over there in the corner to not disturb our sleep. Thou makest a request most untenable. These tales deserve to be announced to the world with the great gusto from the center. Yeah, that's the best way to hear those kinds of stories. But we should probably introduce ourselves to each other first. Name's Mayors. I'm... how should I put this? Did you meet the village chief earlier during the day? He's my Gramps. Oh, that nice guy? So he had a granddaughter. Yet I have not yet seen you once, Miss Mayors, under the sun. Oh my, you're right. I thought the village was completely dried of any young blood. I get the feeling that something's horrible going to happen to this person. Like Rhodia said, while we did see Mayors out there, there wasn't anyone else in the village we could comfortably call young. Oh, you're telling me Gramps was worried over nothing and told me to stay put inside. Going on and on about the dangers that the outside posed and everything. Okay, get into my... It seems that they do not give full faith in their saviors. I'm not surprised, Faust. We do have Ryoshu here, and even 10 minutes talking to Ryoshu could tell you that she's kind of crazy and murdery and crazy murderous. There are things you cannot share even with whom you trust with your life. Speaking from experience, though I would like to know why. We're getting so many, like, Otis hints here. My. So there are a bunch of other kids who are stuck indoors in this village. No, there isn't anyone around my age in the village, not at all. Okay, my first instinct, child sacrifice to the Seaborn. If that's the case, I guess I can understand why he'd be overprotective. Anyway, it's our turn. We are... I'm good. I heard enough to get an idea. You did? Oh, pray, how didst thou hear us? By a listening device most secret upon our chamber? Don Quixote, you are the opposite of quiet. Mayor tapped the side of the wall, the part of it that was still standing anyway, and smiled ironically. Ah, thin walls. Bad soundproofing. I could hear pretty much everything, Don Quixote, right? Everything Don Quixote practically sang during the day. Verily, I see. I think you could really do with some sense of embarrassment for once. Well, I guess that's good enough for self-introduction, so... Care to regale me with the tale of fixers who bring justice to the evils of the city? Oh, it's always so fun to see that Don Quixote gets an active audience, because you don't see that all the time. Indubitably! Then, aha, this shall do. I shall regale thee with the tales in which the legendary fixer, the arch-magnificent herself, the Red Mist, hath... 'Tis supposed that killed any hope of getting a good night's kip? Don't you usually pass out within a minute of your back hitting the hay, no matter how noisy things are? Which is a valuable skill you should develop in the back streets. Do you talk to me? Take me for some kind of hibernating bear or something? Look, even I have trouble sleeping when there's noise all over. Yeah, Peters. I'd say bear in hibernation is pretty apt description. Remember who wore the bear costume. Remember. Heathcliff, you wore that costume. All that grumbling and moaning, he dozed off before any of us did. Aside from Heathcliff, who began snoring the moment his head touched the ground, some other sinners were fast asleep as well. Rissolt had entered sleep in his usual steadfast adherence to routine, while Faustade claimed to one of the few available cloth feasts as soon as the close of business for the day was confirmed. I can't help it, but I sort of imagine Rissolt sleeping by just standing there. He just goes... direct sleeping, just standing there, standing up, not moving the entire time. The sinners who had spent the entire last night searching for me in this unfamiliar land slowly began to fall asleep as well. Meanwhile, the fixer of Zwei Association's first section, though the night was no longer young, Don Quixote was still vigorously sharing the tales of adventure without even a single sign of fatigue. Activate your blood fiend powers and tell her everything. She's not determined to do this until sunrise, is she? Yes, she is. Give her the chance and she will do this kind of stuff. I love Don. He's such a fun character. Ooh. And the elf girl likes it too. I guess it's okay since mayors seem to be having fun. As I continue to watch the pair with some mild concern, Amia, not yet asleep, approached me. This city Don Quixote speaks of seems to be teeming with fixtures of justice and exhilarating tales of adventure. Don Quixote is not the most reliable source of information. Well, technically she is, but she is mostly hyperfixating on one thing. Did you actually experience all of them yourselves? No, of course not. Don Quixote's stories are usually those of other famous people. But she's telling it with such vigor that it almost sounds like she was there herself. Well, there's a possibility she might have been, but that depends on if she actually met them. Well, I guess if you really want to get into it, some of them might be retellings of Don Quixote's personal experiences. Ismail replied uncertainly, thinking back to the plays we were made to watch back in La Mancha Land. Well, I think all those stories, even though they're only partially true, just got to show that a ridiculous place excuse me, what a ridiculous place it can be. You wouldn't need a fixer of justice to begin with if we really lived in a just world, right? A really good place to live would be quiet and peaceful without someone having to force it. That's true. I hope there'll come a day when Rhodes Island can be a normal pharmaceutical company in the future. The day when that's the goal of a lot of people. The day when you can be rendered obsolete. Something wrong? No, I just thought Miss Mayers and I made eye contact. Did she overhear our conversation? Yeah, I get the feeling that she is a spy. I looked to her directly as well, but all I saw was Mayers excitedly reacting to Don Quixote's tales. Whoa, what happened then? Thus spake Lady Otis, boldly before the soldiers who stood in our path. Thou presumest to stand in our path, servants of a master most unworthy. I, Otis, shall educate ye how manner maketh. Don Quixote was now retelling the story of Limbus Company's adventures in Hongyan, and Otis, who could no longer stand Don Quixote's unintentional alterations to the story, jumped to her feet and shouted, "Damn it, what kind of nonsense are you feeding her? I never said anything like that." Ahem, verily, certain aspects of this retelling may have been exaggerated. That's tales of adventure for you. Things are bound to get a bit dry when a story is told too realistically as is, right? Honestly, I genuinely would enjoy sitting next to Don Quixote and just hearing her stories. I'm reminded of one of those who do you sit next to on the airplanes things, and I genuinely think Don Quixote would be a fantastic person to sit next to and just listen to the stories. Sure, it might get a bit grating after a while, but he's a fun storyteller. You know nothing, and not even anything resembling a proper record or a book remained once the profound silence swept through this village. Roland, what did you do? Of course I know it's not Roland, but still. So I've always had a craving for these kinds of stories. But Iberia doesn't stop Iberians from emigrating, contrary to their tight immigration control. Have you ever thought about leaving this place? It's still a challenge to cross the border, especially since we're going to have to pass through larger cities that are managed by the Inquisition. You don't seem particularly fond of the Inquisition. Why is that? Because no one expects the Iberian Inquisition. Ho-ho! 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 That's because this village was formed by people who grew tired of living under the Inquisition's rule and fled. Sorry, but what kind of organization is this Inquisition? Sinclair asked, face turned cold upon hearing the word Inquisition, and that people fled from it. Alright, the Inquisition we're experiencing is the Impale people kind. Yeah, the Nigel und Hammer that we saw back at Cole aren't that the kind of memories that are so easily forgotten, nor should they be. Those are the kinds of memories that, that you kind of want to forget, but kind of never have the opportunity. It is It is just utterly horrible at the end of the day. Now, where was I? According to Dr. Kaldstitz, the Inquisition is what filled the power vacuum once Iberia fell into chaos. That its Inquisition are the rapier and lamp-wielding protectors of Iberia's cities from lawlessness. I see. 1 second, taking a sip of water. I've been talking for a long time. Okay, where was I? That alone kind of makes them sound like good people, though. Yeah, they are, but there's the Church of the Deep. Ah. The Inquisition will go to whatever lengths to deal with incidents related to the church that worships Seaborn. Ah, I see. That certainly sounds crazy. B. An organization that worships those monsters? It seems that cultist fanaticism is a plague wherever we go. I feel like people with all kinds of wrong faiths and beliefs are so common. Unfortunately, that's the issue with these situations. When people are in desperate situations, they turn to faith. And that can be good in some sense. It can help people remain strong, remain focused, fight through the hardship. Other times, though, it makes people go crazy. See, the Seaborn are the ones that messed Iberia up. So, following their logic, apparently it's okay for them to arrest anyone who seemed even remotely connected to them. Are you saying that Iberia is like this because of the Seaborn? Yeah, makes sense. Those things from earlier, I guess they were kind of troublesome to deal with, but they didn't seem that strong. Anyways, notice there, she deflected that. She didn't mention anyways, it's just what I heard from Gramps. But the Inquisition executed many innocent people too in their crusade against the Church of the Deep. For those who aim to be on the side of justice, they seem quite fond of committing such villainy. Oh. It seems like a reasonable policy decision to me. Does make sense, but it must pose a clear danger to the daily lives of civilians. Yeah, I heard I was the only survivor. Everyone in my family died. Ah. I see. You must have had to endure such a long period of pain. And speaking from experience here, Sinclair, speaking from experience, quite a long period of pain. I too will be able to say something like that with such composure. For Iberia, they are heroes who will bring the land back to its glory days. But to Gramps, they were just oppressors making his life difficult. That's why we've come here, fleeing from the Inquisition's gaze. You know, I'm noticing something. They never said they're not part of the Church of the Deep. Yet, wherefore hast thou decided to settle at a place that is so run down? Indeed. Yeah, I know, but it's not so bad once you get used to it. Besides, we managed to find a new path thanks to you guys. A new path? Of course, the boat. Well, it's getting late. Will you be repairing the ship tomorrow, too? This place really has no soundproofing at all, huh? Good talk, everyone. Hope we'll get another chance to do this tomorrow, too. While I definitely find her nice, I am suspicious of her, very much. After seeing Mayer's to her own room, the other sinners, those who were still up anyway, and I, laid our heads down on the stone floor with only a thin layer of cloth between it and our backs. A mysterious world that is neither the city nor the outskirts. But it seemed that the lives its people led were just as difficult as they were anywhere else. Quite the fascinating turn. Quite the fascinating turn. Still plenty of time. Yep. It kind of feels like that took a lot longer than it did. Might just be the fact that I'm talking so much. Ah, good. Combat encounter. Okay. Just what I was looking for. Okay. Clear selected. Alright, so... You...
공주가 나선다.
You...
의뢰임을 세우기 위해서라면
You...
백수, 오 필두,
You, then...
이상이요.
Then... then you,
이제야 부르나.
you, you,
음?
then you in the back line, and you further back to
모이를
come in.
부르셨으니
Wait, or...
잠깐.
주군께서
That, there, that
모이를
should...
뿌리셨으니
That should allow for some stance dancing shenanigans.
의뢰로군.
Wait, other way around.
의뢰로.
맡겨두시.
밧줄 단단히 묶어라.
사랑과
Now let's
이름으로 지금 이곳에
let's begin the murder sequence. It's so big. Amazing. I didn't know there were remaining vessels of this class in Iberia. Huh. Yeah, that is a big ship. Aha, I espy her name here. 'Tis called by the name Rebellion de las Masas. Rebellion de las Masas. Revolt of the Masses. Is it? A name very much mired in peculiarity indeed. Honglu chimed in that he was rather fond of it, with its size being about the same as the boat from his home. While Ishmael quickly jumped in to correct us that its size alone wasn't anything special at the Great Lakes, but it was still pretty big compared to Mephi or the Indigo's Elder's skiff. Yeah, but the Indigo Elder's skiff is indestructible. I'm pretty sure that man on that ship, his skiff, would destroy that. I thought I was going to be somewhere around, it was going to be around somewhere around Mephi's size at most. Are you sure you can get that fixed shipped in a day or two? Yeah, that is kind of an impressive big ship. As I briefed you yesterday, the great majority of the time-consuming repairs have already been completed by the villagers. The extent of our repair efforts only concerns a few components within the vessel that the villagers could not repair, which shouldn't take us much time. Unless parts that are unfamiliar to Faust are also malfunctioning, such as the core engine, remaining repairs should be sufficiently managed by Faust, because, again, Faust is a genius. He knows all. Despite Otis's confident declaration, I could not help but feel oddly unsettled as I looked at the ship. I don't know why, but something tells me that we don't want to linger here too long. Yep, something tells me that the villagers aren't as peaceful as they seem. Still, please be thorough about it, just in case. I'd rather not sit on a sinking ship again. Again, the experience at the Great Lake was enough. Do not worry, Dante. Unlike Mephistopheles, most functions of this vessel, buoyancy gear, propellers, steering gear, are all in operational capacity. The repair should be much easier than the case with Mephistopheles, especially since we turned a bus into a boat. They seem confident enough. It should be safe this time around, right? Are we taking that rope to climb up to the ship? No, there is a lift-like apparatus down here. It should take us up to the ship. The stability was verified yesterday. Let us board the lift. Yep. You're 100% certain, right? boat is afloat right now, Dante. I don't think it would sink anytime soon. You'd be surprised. Wouldn't that be nice? But... Oi, are you two just going to faff around down here? We're heading up now. No, we're going with you. As I made my way up into the vessel's bridge... Okay, yeah, now this is fancy. It's even goldier than I imagined. I was greeted by a rather extravagant interior that was as gaudy as its exterior. This isn't real gold, isn't? Of course you're looking at it. Sure, is shiny as heck in here. I've got butterflies in my stomach. A.S. Aesthetically satisfying, she says. Huh. I'm surprised Ryoshu found this aesthetically satisfying. But too ostentatious. Not quite my style. There it is. Yeah, I can imagine it not being her style. Ryoshu is very much a... Let's look at the murder angle sort of person, so... Yeah. Our young Mephi is also quite the excellent vessel. Yet, imagine the adventures we could embark on aboard this vessel, most lavishly decorated. Yeah, basically, not my taste, but still good. She can admire good artwork at the very least. As Faust and Otis were working on one of the control panels, Ishmael walked up to another and interfaced with it before giving it a knowing nod. This must be an investigative or research vessel of some kind, but it does seem a bit extravagant for one of those, though. Look, coordinates updating in real time, it seems. The coordinates seem to have been set to somewhere out in the middle of the ocean. Maybe it points to a small inlet. No inlet there. Yep. Little girl just pops up. Rely me, lass. That's just... You sure know how to sneak up on people. Mayors. More water. What? Did I actually surprise you? I did ask if you guys were coming to fix the boat today. Still, I didn't know you'd be here. Why are the coordinates set to this location? There are several undersea cities beneath those coordinates, collectively known as Aegir. Gramps' home. I see. Understood. What was understood, if I may ask? It is now understood why the promise to repair the ship was sufficient to earn their trust and the title of saviors. What's she on about? Someone getting translating? Consolidating and cross-referencing the observation, observed particular circumstances of the village, and the statements from the village chief alongside information garnered from the exchange with mayors, it is possible to gauge the significance this ship's repair has to the local populace. Of course, while this may constitute a sequence of logical connections that pose a certain challenge for Heathcliff to comprehend, aka, Heathcliff, you be stupid. To employ any degree of effort to attempt to explain it in more digestible language would constitute a pursuit of inefficiency. Heathcliff, you be stupid. Lower that baton, I implore you, I shall explain it in full. Why you gotta diss Heathcliff, Faust? Because it's Faust. She disses everyone. I was wondering when Miss Smartass would start gabbing like that again, so what's he on about? Heathcliff's shoulders were relaxed. It didn't seem like he was actually going to swing the bat. He placed it lightly over his shoulder with a sigh. A brief observation of the village seemed to suggest that their subsistence situation was quite dire. Much of their daily sustenance consisted of dried food. Most of them had for long-term storage purposes. Consider what Scotty said about how the coastal areas are full of danger. Maybe those dried seafood aren't from around here either. Maybe it's food they packed when they first came to Faro Marto. Seems villagers were armed, yeah, and those sea terrors weren't exactly that formidable, but given the state of the villagers are in, I doubt they'd have an easy time repelling those monsters. Indeed. And that brings up the question of sustenance. Right, I get what's going on here. The lass and her grandpa are about to visit their hometown, and they're trying to get some food supplies from there to feed the villagers. And to convince them, they're planning to use the fact they're from the same neck of the woods, or sea, I guess. Oh, I see. We're not just repairing the ship, we're repairing the food supply plan too. Yeah, but I wonder if there'd be any city left. I don't know Arknights lore that well, but I'm assuming Seaborn probably overran those cities a long time ago. Huh, what's wrong? It's, well, the expressions were rather crude. Heathcliff's summary of the situation was clear, to the point and easily understood. The sinners stared at him with mild surprise. And I did too. What's it with them annoying looks? Look, wait. Oh, you sods. You don't think I'm that dim-witted, do you? Well, I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. Heh, top-notch intuition. It's just that it's been a while since you've shown this side of yourself. Thinking back, Heathcliff's intuition has always been excellent, and he's often put together surprisingly accurate conclusions with impressive speed. You know, when you really think about it, it's kind of your fault for, yes, and the event touched on it a bit, but the Age are actually the main ones fighting the Seaborn. Okay, then. So it's less they're destroyed and Scotty's like the lost one or something like that. And more a situation where more a situation where it's complicated. Still at least that lowers suspicion. That is Scotty's, not Rhodes, though they do show up here. Like, I do imagine Scotty's group. It's kind of... I've been too soft on you lately, haven't I? Oi, get back here. Ahem. Now that with those fools out of the conversation, was he correct? Otis looks away from the usual chaos and asks Mayors. Honestly, I'm surprised he was on point. Yeah, food's been running low in the village. At this rate, we won't last another year. But the Ager will, I'm sure they'll welcome us with open arms. I don't want to come off like I'm overly worried, but do you think they'll welcome the others too? Unlike Mayors or Chief, they're not Aegir. I believe they will. Iberia suspects and hates the Aegir for no other reason that we're from the sea, but our home cannot have fallen so low as to abandon a group of starving land dwellers. Prithee, might thou explain to us who the Aegir are? I had initially thought to be a reference to a region, yet it also seems to refer to affiliation of sorts. Yeah, I wonder if the Aegir would count as non-human by the head standards. And honestly, a lot of the species here, which would count as human and which wouldn't. Maybe there's something like nest dwellers, though I don't think I've heard of a nest that accepts backstreet people with open arms. Or maybe they used to be there used to be some rich folk. If they call if they call them Nesthoff's Aegir here, then doesn't that make the rabbit ear last Aegir too? Wait. In the world you come from, do they not distinguish between races? That is not entirely true. Delineation between races is a concept that does exist. Though I only saw them in the Fathoms, as there were those terrifying things called cuckoo spawns. Ah, right, the impregnation birds. Those things were terrifying. Terrans, by and large, would count as human. Human is actually... as it only becomes that they're mentally so, plus or minus a bit. Yeah. However, as a general rule, it can be said that humans are, humans should be the only intelligent life forms in the city. The people of Terra have slightly varied appearances depending on their race, like my catus ears. And I've got pointed ears because I'm an Aegir, though it's not a characteristic every Aegir shares. The closest idea to what they are discussing appears to be, Don Quixote seemed to be struggling to finish her sentence. Result stepped in to continue. By context clues and the manner of word usage, including the means of classification, the closest example in our world would be blood fiends. Similar external appearance to human, different natures, comparable sapience. It is of my belief that blood fiends are ostracized due to their nature that makes coexistence with humans difficult. It may be that the Aegir are also... I'm sure some of them do possess qualities that make coexistence with others difficult, but they're probably rare. Then whatever are they made subjects of suspicion and hatred. That's... well, the language is new, but the idea itself is pretty familiar to the city folk like us. Think of feathers or fallen wings, kids born in the back streets, people who replace their body parts with prosthetics. Yep, different forms of discrimination. The form differs, yet in its essence we find the thread. No matter where you go, there will be discrimination in some form. In-group and out-group instances and all that. Something about how we keep finding these similarities in the ways of our lives, despite finding ourselves in a distant world with different rules, races, and humans. Felt oddly discomforting. Ahem, the point is, you guys are doing us a real solid by fixing up the ship. Let's move on from these gloomy conversations, okay? I want to show you the cooler parts of the ship. This way. The ship tour may have to wait. The repairs are almost complete, but an issue has arisen. Issue? Wow, that's not reassuring at all. Multiple life forms identified ahead. Assumed to be Sea Terror Horde. The ship's radar system seems to suggest that the vessel is surrounded. They're the same monsters from yesterday. Executive Manager, please order us to prepare for battle. Damn it. And are they the sea terrors you encountered? They look a bit different, but yeah, probably. There's a lot of them, but if our experience tells us anything, we should be able to handle this. It looked different. Now, I don't know much about Seaborn, but I do know they have some adaptive abilities. What are the odds that they're doing something right now? Amir, please support us in battle like you did yesterday. Canst thou fight young mayors? I feel like I'm just gonna get in your way. Then, guys, find a place to keep mayors as far as possible from the battlefield. The best way to deal with the Seaborn is Big Stick. Then let's hurry down there. don't want them damaging the ship any further. Okay, so let's defeat the Seaborn by applying the best option. Pure blunt force trauma. Or stabbing. Or cutting. I actually never checked what their stats are.
어쩐 일로 진짜 도움이 되는 걸 걸치고 오셨네요.
What are they stacked? They're weak to every attack, okay.
내가 맞서.
Do one, they bite, they assault us.
호위 이상이요.
They no. So these are priority targets. Okay, got it. They're usually not dangerous unless they're on creep. Okay. Okay, first attack. Hey, Xiao doing good? Okay, do good so far. Now I can do this. Do a retreat order. Do this, into this, into this, into this. Or you see... Oh, you see 2 giant flowers or the eggs, then panic. Okay. I'll keep that in mind for when I panic. Good progress, good progress. Okay, that's... Clear the way for my lord. Very good, very good.
바리에게 해줄 이야기가 또 늘었군요.
Can you retreat? No, not yet. Alas, this is well before W became wise. I have no idea what wise is, but I'm assuming it's epic. It's always fun just watching the battles, and especially watching your characters utterly slaughter. Especially Faust and Rio, and not Faust, especially the rabbits minus Faust. I had some bad habits with those guys.
바리에게 해줄 이야기가 또 늘었군요.
Yeah, so next up. Up. Bench there, let's see. Okay. So she will retreat now, and now I can... Yeah, you know, this girl we posted from, that we call a cockroach, her full name is Wizardel, pronounced Wizard. Wish her death.
죽지 마.
She also has the dumb cockroach antenna. Okay, okay, I see.
말로 걸었다. 넌
Answer me, Hey Shao Pak.
저 해주를 도려내라. 물론껏 오여.
Follow the carve the path of the Lord. Now Ishmael drops.
악당 퇴치 성공.
Oh, and I've completed the mission.
오늘도 정말 멋진 활약이었어. 내일도 꼭 불러주기야. 세상이 평화로워지는 건 기쁜 거야.
Okay. Okay, that was good. That was good.
내일도 지금처럼 조용하려나?
Loading screen. How much stuff did I get? How much did I get?
또 한 줄 길을 남겼고
Good, good. Nice stockpile.
핏물진 길일 뿐이지만
So the next.
세월이 지나면
So I've made.
홍어는 그제야 알게 되겠지.
I think I've made some decent progress
이
for.
홍로가
Okay.
무엇을
What?
바꾸었는지를.
Yeah, just stop talking. I think I made some decent progress, but now I'm getting a bit tired, and I want to have the energy when I go through the rest of the stuff. Plus, talking too much is going to kill my throat. So I'm going to call it here for tonight. I'm going to call it here for tonight, everyone. And thank you for coming. Yeah, I should have all the ego equipped. Yeah. Ego's equipped. Ego's equipped. Then Ish. Well, I don't have Ishmael yet, so yeah, I have everything. I think I have them all equipped. I'll double check just to be safe later. Anyway, regardless, I am getting a bit exhausted now, so I think I'll call it here for tonight. I think things went fantastically for the first time. It was great. So before you go, I want to do a raid. Let's see how these raids. I haven't done raids before, so let me send you off to someone else playing Limbus. Someone who doesn't have too many. Okay, let's send it to this person. Let's send it to this Faust. And start raid. Go and give this other guy my. Go give this other guy my appreciation. Until then, everyone, have fun. And